Culzean Castle, which sits high upon the cliffs of Ayrshire in Scotland, has been shrouded in mystery and tales of dark forces and evil entities since its construction. There has been no shortage of horrific events taking place here. It is said that in 1570, 4th Earl of Cassilis captured the abbot of Crossraguel Abbey and roasted him alive in Culzean until he agreed to sign over his lands to him. This site saw much torture and death through the years. One story in particular I would like to focus on today is that of Sir Archibald the Wicked, who was born in 1655. He had later inherited the castle. 1655 was a very horrible time period to be alive in Scotland. This time period is often referred to as the killing time due to the amount of bloodshed the country was host to during that time period. It is said that in 1685, Sir Archibald and his men were out scouring the landscape for conventicles. These were secret or unlawful religious meetings, usually by nonconformists. It's believed that they came upon one being led by a man called Reverend Ware. Culzean ordered his men to attack and kill these unarmed worshippers. One of them, however, a Mr. Gilbert McAdam, armed with nothing but a walking stick, was trying to defend his aged mother in the attack from receiving a blow from the butt of a musket. The cane was knocked out of his hands, and so he grabbed hold of his mother and he turned to flee the fight. They were pursued by a single horseman who shot Gilbert in the back of the head. This horseman was, of course, Sir Archibald the Wicked. You've probably guessed by now. It's said that just before he rode away, Gilbert's horrified mother grabbed hold of the reins and uttered a curse to Archibald. She said, "When the hour of death approaches, no priest will be able to quench the ceaseless flames which burn in your chest, and no words of affection soothe your dying soul." According to witnesses at the scene, Archibald was visibly disturbed. His servants soon had started reporting that on cold wintry nights, when the wind engulfed the castle turrets, he could be seen crying in anguish and torment. His soul had become more and more blackened by his evil actions throughout his life. At last, in 1710, the time came for Archibald to pass over to the other side. He was not to go gently. He fought with rage like a spoiled child, unwilling to accept his demise. He even threatened to cut off the doctors' heads because they told him he could not be cured. He even sent away the priests because they did not quench the fire in his breast nor cleanse his soul of the darkness that was slowly consuming him. It was said that on his final night on this earth, he had entered a state of sheer terror and panic. It said that he struggled and screamed until his voice began to fade. His eyes bulged in their sockets and he stared in horror, pointing at something in the room with him that only he could see. He was pointing to the bottom of his bed, hopelessly screaming in silence through his damaged vocal cords. No one else could see anything though. But it said the silence gave vent to an unearthly disembodied laugh from within the room, right at the moment the light left Archibald's bulging eyes. It was a fearsome night. The storm continued and the servants all testified to hearing shrieks of laughter and beastly groans of agony. They all fell to their knees and prayed, terrified out of their wit, and they did not stop until the sun appeared on a blood-red sky the following morning. When the day of the funeral dawned, 4 white horses were attached to the hearse. Apparently one of them actually dropped dead on the spot. The 4 others kicked up such a fuss that they had to be released. 4 black ones were put in their place, but they were said to have refused to even pull the hearse at all. The coffin had to be removed and placed on the ground where the priest said some words over it. The coffin then had to be replaced before the procession could proceed and he could be buried finally. Though just as they had set off from the funeral, another fearsome broke out and the proceedings were just about to be abandoned when it stopped again, just as suddenly as it started. However, the moment they reached the burial place, it started up again. Only flashes of fire were seen to run along the length of the coffin, and after which it felt much lighter apparently. Some thought it was a lightning strike travelling along the ground and causing the corpse of Archibald to combust inside his coffin. But then, most people that were there that day claimed it was the devil taking his faithful servant home. An event was recorded more than 10 years later by a local when he was out travelling the road on foot. He was passing Culzean Castle on a similar stormy night. The poor fellow was terrified of what he saw. Illuminated by flashes of lightning through the pouring rain, he claimed to have come across another coach pulled coincidentally by 4 black horses. The traveller hailed the coachman and asked him, "From whence to where?" "From hell to Culzean's burial," replied the spectral coachman.